Hi everyone, today we are going to be planting some more seeds. We have endive, Marvel 4 Seasons, and mustard, and we're going to be using a pellet greenhouse planter. The brand we're using is Mackenzie, and all I'm doing is just removing everything. Then I have my hot water, approximately 4 cups, which I'm going to pour on to start letting the pellets expand. You want to make sure your water is hot because cold water will take a lot longer for these pellets to expand. Okay, so you guys can see these have expanded. They are not completely expanded, so I'm adding 4 more cups of hot water with Super Thrive added. Some of the pellets still had some dry spots, so I'm adding 2 more cups of hot water. And guys, I cannot pour stuff out of a glass to save the life of me. I do not know how people manage to pour without it dripping down the side. And now we wait again for all the water to be absorbed. Since this is the second round, I'm going to do 2 rows of endive and 1 of each of the others. And I, of course, have to use my little dauber. Some of the soil was pretty compact, so I just took my dauber to loosen up and break up the soil. And finally, the best part, planting time. To mark the varieties, I'm just using tabs that I have, and I'm putting tape on top of it so I can reuse that tag again. There we go. Second round of lettuce planted here for us. Put the green top roof on to keep in the moisture longer. All right, so I want to touch base with you guys real quick. The difference between this and the pellet seed starting stuff like this is these are a little bit bigger, so you'll be able to get a little bit longer and a little bit more growth out of these than you will these. For something like lettuce or leafy greens, it doesn't make a difference. At least in my experience, for my area, this will allow the lettuce to get big enough for me to plant it outside and have a good harvest off of it. Whereas tomatoes are better suited for something like this. And even though I still might have to transplant the tomatoes, this will at least allow them to be in this container a little bit longer. Last year I tried to do my tomatoes in these and they never really got big enough. They actually got quite leggy. Also with these, if you leave your seedlings in them too long, the roots can start tangling around each other. So there's just some pros and cons of doing a setup like this versus a setup like this. I still stand by the fact that if you are new to gardening and you've never started seeds, do not go out and buy a bunch of equipment. If anything, buy a simple grow light and a couple of these just to give you an idea if you will even like starting your own seeds. Some people do, some people don't. It's a lot of work. I mean, I only had the 3 varieties to plant this time, but the first week of April, I actually have 15 varieties to plant. And it took, even this year, knowing the benefit of having a couple rounds of the same plant planted at different times, it still took a lot for me just to go ahead and plant these 3 versus just waiting until next week. And before you go, help us out. If you enjoyed, go, do, and grow something you love.